Afternoon all. I, Ankit Chauhan, on behalf of Computer Science and Engineering Department, PIET, welcome you all in the webinar on introducing Param Shavak supercomputer. As we all know, we received a grant of Param Shavak supercomputer from Gujarat, Government of Gujarat. So to introduce this supercomputer, today we have our speaker, Dr. Amit Barve, Head of Computer Science and Engineering Department, Parul Institute of Engineering and Technology, and his specialization itself in high performance computing. Now, I would like to request Dr. Amit Barve sir to begin his session. Thank you, sir. Amit sir. Amit sir, is it audible? Amit sir. Okay, I think due to some technical problem, he is rejoining this expert lecture and we will start within 1 minute.
Yeah, am I audible now? Hello.
Yes. Now you are audible, Amit sir. Please
Okay.
start your
Sorry,
session.
there's some network problem. Okay, so thank you, Ankit sir, for introducing me. And so now I'll start with my presentation. So I'm going to introduce the Param Shavak supercomputer, which is the grant we have received from Guj Coast, government of Gujarat. Okay, so I'll start with my presentation now. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen. My screen is visible.
Yes,
My
sir,
screen
it's
is
visible.
visible. Okay, fine. So the topic is introducing Param Shavak supercomputer. Okay, and this is the grant by Gujarat Council of Science and Technology. And under this grant, we have received Param Shavak supercomputer. Okay, and this is powered by CDAC. Okay, so this is one of the supercomputers. I can say that it is a tower supercomputer. Okay, which is designed by CDAC. So to begin with. The presentation. So I have said this is the outline for this particular presentation. First of all, we'll be talking about what is high performance computing. So the introduction part and its application. Okay, and then after that we'll see the Param Shavak supercomputer which we have received at PU. It's a specification. So it's a specification based on the NVIDIA macro architectures. Then we'll explore NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000 series. This is the GPU we have received from Guj Coast as a grant. And then after that, we'll talk about this Turing architecture. Then we can talk about the TensorFlow, the Tensor cores which are available in this particular architecture. Then some examples of some example where we can use AI, ML, and DL techniques. So some new thing which is coming with this particular architecture like deep learning, super scaling, and then ray tracing. This is RT course. Okay, what exactly is RT core and how we can work with ray tracing. And then we'll see the software architecture of Param Shavak DLGPU. And then we talk about the parallel programming libraries which are available in this particular supercomputer, and then deep learning frameworks, and then followed by a demo. Okay, so this is the outline for today's presentation. Okay, so first I'll talk about what exactly is high performance computing, HPC. Because when we talk about supercomputing, it comes in high performance computing. We want some high performance from the computer. Okay, so the definition says HPC, high performance computing, is uses parallel processor for running advanced application program efficiently, reliably, and quickly. So this is the first definition. And if you can see the another definition says The high performance computing HPC uses computer clusters and computer supercomputer and computer cluster to solve advanced computation problem. So if you can see, the common part in both the definition is that we will be using it for advanced application, okay, advanced computational problem which requires intense computation. Okay, so this is high performance computing, and for it as this is a HPC computer or a supercomputer. So when we see this today's era, so today computer approaching to teraflop of region. So what is teraflop of region? That is 10 raised to power 12 floating point of operations per second are counted as HPC computer. So if the computation speed is in teraflops, then only I can called, or then only this particular system is called as the HPC computer. Okay, so these are the different ranges. Like when we talk about like gigaflops, it is 10 raised to power 9, then teraflops 10 raised to power 12, petaflops it is 15, and then exaflop it is 10 raised to power 18. Okay, so this so which machine we called it as HPC system whose computation power is in tera, so that is 10 raised to power 12. Okay. So high performance computing, it can be used to solve highly complex problem in the areas of science, engineering, technologies, and businesses. And it can be viewed as a strategic tool for modeling, simulation analysis, interpretation, and visualization of complex physical phenomena. Okay, so it can be applicable in each and every field. So it is not basically for scientific application or a computational application. You can apply the high performance computing in the field of sciences, engineering, technologies. It can be used for simulation purpose. Okay, it can be used for modeling purpose as well. Visualization is nowadays extensively using this particular technique. Okay, so there are some applications. Okay, so what are the different applications where we can use high performance computing? So it can be broadly classified as in the scientific computing, then technical computing, business computing, media and entertainment computing. And the fourth industry is extensively using high performance computing nowadays. Again, to explore this particular application, so in scientific computing, we have the life sciences, drug design and discovery, bioinformatics, computational chemistry, computational atmospheric sciences, okay, and then tsunami. Then I can go with the tsunami prediction and earthquake prediction, because all these are computing techniques are based on previous data, and based on all this previous data, we are analyzing this data, and to analyze this data, we required heavy computation. Okay, so all this scientific computing comes in the as application in HPC. When we talk about like technical computing, so here the crash simulation, if you want to do disaster management, electronic design, automation, nanotechnology. So all these fields can apply this HPC technique. We can use the HPC in all these techniques. Okay. And then finally, the business computing. So business computing, like a stock market prediction and analysis, then e-banking solution, computational finances. These are all the applications where we can use high performance computing. And when we talk about the last and important industry which uses extensively high performance computing is media and entertainment. So here we have this 3D rendering and animation, visualization, digital content creation, and after that digital effect manipulation, cine video productions. So some examples like the movies Bahubali and the Gravity. Okay, so these are the examples. They have extensively used the high performance computing technique. So this is the basic part of where we can apply HPC, high performance computing. Okay, so now coming back to the today's discussion, that is on the Param Shavak supercomputer. So this is the Param Shavak supercomputer we have received from the Guj Coast, and it is installed by CDAC. And you can see this is DLGPU. DLGPU, that means deep learning GPU. Okay, so under this grant, this is the configuration of this particular system. So we have two Intel Xeon Gold 6145 processor, and combinedly we have 40 cores of processing power. Okay, one NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000 series card. So we'll explore this particular card, and the today's presentation is based on exploring this particular card only. Okay, and then after that, here we have 96 GB of RAM and 16 TB of hard disk drive. So this is the storage we have received. Okay, so when we talk about like Intel Xeon Gold architecture, it is very new architecture, okay, and it is based on Skylake architecture. So Intel has tick-tock model, and when we talk about this tick-tock model, this is a talk which they have used, okay, and the platform is purely platform, and if you can see here, this manufacturing process, that is the silicon process technology, it is 14 nm chip. The data width is 64-bit. Total number of cores available, it is 20, and the total number of threads. Each thread has one core. Each core has one thread. So total number of threads, that means total number of logical CPUs when we count. So it is nearly 40 logical CPUs. So in combined, we have around 40 CPU cores and 80 threads, that is 80 logical cores, okay, and then it is the floating point unit is integrated in this particular specification. So, so as I said, the more focus will be on this NVIDIA GPU architecture. Okay, so these are the list of NVIDIA micro architecture. So, like NVIDIA, they have started with the Tesla architecture. Then after that, they come up with Fermi architecture, and then this architectures were replaced by Kepler. And then in upcoming days, they came with the Maxwell architecture. Then the Pascal architecture, which was very popular architecture, and which was used in most of the supercomputer, which are listed in top 500 list of supercomputers. Okay, and then Volta architecture. This Volta architecture creates the revolution in the field of HPC as well as deep learning. And then they come up with the Turing architecture, and this recent architecture is Ampere architecture. Okay, so the processor, the GPU which we have received is NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000 series. Okay, and this was the first ray tracing GPU. Okay, and when we see this particular architecture is based on Turing architecture. As I discussed, these are the architectures. So this particular GPU architecture is based on Turing architecture. So NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000 powered by NVIDIA Turing architecture. Okay, and the NVIDIA RTX platform. So RTX is ray tracing platform. Now, what exactly this ray tracing is, I'll explain you in upcoming slide. So it uses ray tracing deep learning to supercharge the next generation workflow. So here we have the capacity of both. We can go with the applications of ray tracing, and we can also go with the applications of deep learning. So it supports both ray tracing as well as deep learning. Okay, and this ray tracing is all real time ray tracing. Okay. So when we open this particular box, so this is the NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000. So when we open this particular box, so this physical box looks like this. Okay, so here I have this is the processor. So this NVIDIA Turing GPU architecture. So it arms with all new RT cores. RT cores, that means ray trace cores. Okay, and then for ray tracing, and then 384 tensor cores are there. So these tensor cores are especially for AI, artificial intelligence, deep learning, and machine learning application. And it has around a 3072 CUDA cores for parallel computing. So if we have any application where we require this parallel computing, so we can use all these CUDA cores. And this NVIDIA Turing is simply the world's most advanced GPU. So at that time when it was introduced. Okay, so nowadays we have RTX 8000 series, which is the newest one. Okay. Then this particular slot where in this particular slot the 16 GB ultra fast GDDR, that is graphic DDR memory is placed. And if you can see, this particular slot is NVLink slot. So this NVLink is used to connect 2 or more GPUs, and the transmission speed is almost 16 times faster as compared to normal interconnects. So this is the changes the NVIDIA people have done in the base architecture, where especially they have used NVIDIA NVLink architecture to connect 2 or more GPUs. Okay, so this is about the base of Quadro RTX 5000 series GPU. Okay. When we talk about its specifications, so the specification is 16 GB memory as it was there, and then here we have NVIDIA CUDA cores. So this is 3072 CUDA cores. Okay, This is especially for parallel computation. And then Tensor Core 384 Tensor Cores, especially for deep learning, artificial intelligence, and machine learning kind of application. And 48 RT course. So 48 RT course is ray tracing course. Okay, I'll show you some examples of ray tracing. Okay. Then when we talk about it, single precision performance, the single precision, that means this 32 bit floating point performance, it is nearly 11.2 teraflops. So now it has ranges to teraflop of teraflop of computation. So that is why this particular PC is HPC. Okay. Then when we talk about this tensor performance, this tensor performance is nearly 89.2 teraflops. So it is more than, if we run such type of application where we are using AI, ML, and DL application, the performance which we'll get is almost 89.2 teraflops. Okay. And this particular system is VR ready. VR, that means virtual. Here we can run the applications of virtual realities. Okay. And all these graphics APIs are available, like the DirectEyes, then shader module, and for shading purpose, and then OpenGL can. And after that, the compute APIs. So these are the compute APIs available, like CUDA, then Direct Compute, and OpenCL. So these are all the APIs available with this particular architecture. Okay, these are the specification of NVIDIA Quadro RTX 5000. Okay. So furthermore, when we discuss about NVIDIA Quadro architecture, so it has three important features. The first feature is it's a new core architecture. So as you can see, this is a new core architecture. Okay. The another one is we have a tensor cores available into this particular architecture, especially for deep learning, AI, and ML application, and the RT cores for ray tracing. Okay. So these are the three important features of this particular architecture. So one by one, we will discover each and every feature, and we'll see, like if we'll explore all these features. So what type of application we can run and how much performance we got as compared to normal system. Okay. So so this Turing architecture, as I said, this particular Quadro is based on this Turing architecture. So biggest architecture leap to forward to decade, providing the new core GPU architecture that enable major challenges in efficiency and performance for PC gaming, then professional graphics application, and deep learning interfacing. So this is really interesting architecture for deep learning part, PC gaming, professional graphics designing. You can extensively use this particular system. Okay. And using this particular new hardware, okay, so we can go with hybrid approaches. So like we can go with the hybrid approaches where you can combine like Turing rasterization, real-time ray tracing, artificial intelligence. So hybrid approaches you can combine. So you can go with ray tracing with AI with some other things. So with this, we'll get a really quality result. Okay, and it is really, these are all really effective results. So these are all amazing new effects. Okay, and it is all powered by this neural network, then all this navigation, complex, and 3D models. So this is the interesting architecture by NVIDIA. Okay, so if we open this particular, so this was so if we open this particular processor architecture, okay, so it somewhat looks like this. Okay, so this is the architecture where you can find, like, these are all these are all GPU cores. Then you can find the tensor cores as well. Okay, so this is the physical architecture of NVIDIA. Okay, this is the physical Turing architecture. Okay, and when we talk about this logical architecture, the logical architectures look like this. So this is the logical architecture. Okay, so when we see this particular architecture, so this is the physical architecture actual, and this is like a logical architecture. If you can see, this is a representation. It's a graphical representation. Okay, so here we have a GPC. Okay, so this GPC is graphic processing cluster. So you will have number of GPCs available in this particular processor. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, and so on, and these are all connected with their L2 caches. Okay, and these are all memory controllers. Okay, which are available with your RTX 5000. Okay, and when we zoom this particular one, okay, so now we'll explore a specific GPC. So this is graphics processing cluster. Okay, so when we zoom into this particular cluster, so it looks like this. Okay, so inside this we have TPC. TPC is texture processing cluster. So this TPC is a texture processing cluster, And then we have number of TPCs, such type of TPCs. Okay, and then each TPC has SMs. Okay, so this SMs are symmetric. These are streaming multiprocessor. Okay, so again we will we'll take one TPC out of it. So when we take one TPC out of it, so it will look like this. So this is how the SMs look like. So when we see this particular SM, it has INT32, that is fixed point. This is for fixed point operation, and then where we have 32 FP32, it is for floating point of operations. Okay, and then we have tensor cores available into this. Okay, and with this we have a warp scheduler. Now what exactly this SM means? Streaming multiprocessor, and it has 1 to 4 warp schedulers, and warps are the basic unit of execution, and it is the collection of 32 threads and concurrently in concurrent implementation. Okay, so this is the base unit for each and every GPU. So if we can see each and every compute unit. Okay, so if each and every compute unit, you will find such type of architecture. And the interesting part is that it can be operated parallelly. So parallelly you can fill data into INT32, as well as you can perform computation with FP32. So both can be executed in parallel. Okay, so this is the interesting part in this particular architecture. Okay. So furthermore, the down we have RT cores. So RT cores are ray tracing cores. Okay, so this is the base architecture when we explore this RTX 5000 series. Okay, so again initially we have this particular system. Okay, so we have this particular system, and from this particular processor, if we can open this one, so what we'll get the physical structure, logical structure, picture structure, you can say that. Okay, and then if we can if we can take out one GPC, so it will look like this. And in one GPC we have one TPC, and in one TPC we have such type of thing. So this is the streaming multiprocessor. So it has 1 to 4 stream processor. Okay, so if we know the architecture of the system, then it is very easy for us to run a specific application for that particular architecture. So architecture understanding is really important when we'll be working with high performance computing system. Okay, so this is about the basic architecture of NVIDIA. Okay, so this is new core architecture. Okay, so now we will explore the another feature of this particular architecture, which is tensor cores. So this tensor cores are specialized execution units designed specifically for performing tensor and matrix operation, and that are the core compute function used in deep learning. So this is especially designed for deep learning purpose. Okay, the Turing tensor cores provide tremendous speed up for matrix computation at the heart of deep learning, neural network training, and interfacing operation. Okay, so if we can use this particular tensor core, so definitely we'll get really good performance, especially in the AI, ML, and DL network. Okay. So like this is the throughput, like when we are using the tensor cores, and if we are using FP32, that is floating point of operation, so we'll get almost 8x throughput. Okay, if we go with integer 8 operation, so integer 8 operation, then this throughput is increased to 16.x, and when we again reduce it to integer 4, it will go to 32x throughput. Okay, so this is about the performance of tensor cores. Okay. So in tensor core, if we'll be using this tensor core for deep learning and related application, so again this NVIDIA, they have come up with this deep learning super sampling methodology. So this deep learning DLSS, okay, a deep learning neural network to extract multi-dimensional feature of the render scene, and intelligently combines the detail of multiple frames to construct a high quality final image. So it will analyze all these images, okay, or from some sequence, okay, and then with the help of this, they can come up with this particular method, come up with a high quality final image. Okay, so we'll see, like so if we can see, this is the sequence. Okay, this is the sequence, and this is the output of TAA. So this TAA is temporal anti aliasing. Okay, so this technique, and when we talk about this DLSS technique, so you can just compare the output. So after analysis, the output of DLSS 2x is quite better as compared to this particular technique. Okay, so this is DLSS technique, and again it is from it is with the help of TensorFlow technique. Sorry, Tensor Cores. Okay. The another example is AI super resolution. So this AI super resolution. So if we can analyze the low resolution image, so if we can give low resolution image, so this is the output. If we'll get if we'll use the concept nearest neighbor. Okay, so we'll get such type of output. When we use this bicubic, then the output is quite improved. Okay, so the output comes like this. And when we use this super resolution, so definitely we can compare the output of last two methods. So this is again AI based super resolution. So this output is better as compared to other approaches. So this AI super resolution provides improved image clarity over other filter methods. Okay, so this is again with the help of TensorFlow. Okay. Then after that, if we can see in painting, so this is another application where we can use deep learning. So in painting allows the application to provide features to remove existing content from an image and use next generation AI algorithm to replace replace and remove the content with realistic computer generated alternative. Okay, so the example of this particular approach is like this. So if we can see, this is a image in which some part is missing. Okay, and if you can see here, with the help of this in painting, the complete image is properly created. Similarly with this particular image. Okay, and you can see the proper image has been created. Okay, and these are all the other images. So in painting, these are the example where missing image data is intelligently replaced with meaningful image information. So it is automatically created based on this deep learning network. Okay, so this is another example where this in painting is used. So again, based on deep learning part. Okay, then another applications like super slow motion. Okay, so this super slow motion, for this I want to show you one demo. Okay, so how this super slow motion work with this particular processor. Okay, so I'll just show you a demo. Is this video is visible? Is this video is visible?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Okay, so just say this is a super slow motion video. Okay, and now this is manual slow motion, and if you can see, this is super slow motion. You can easily identify like how smoothly that car has moved. Okay, this is another video. So the player. Okay, so you can just compare like how the super slow motion works. So the rate is 480 frames per second. Okay, so okay, so this is again manual. So, and if you can see here, this is with the help of super slow motion. Okay, you can easily analyze it. This is really interesting. Okay, so just analyze it. Okay, so this is with original slow motion footage, and this is with super slow motion footage, and you can see the comparison, how exactly the motion is working. Okay, and how exactly it is showing the result. Okay, this is best for analysis. So this is in real time, and this is in original slow motion, and this particular, you can see this is super slow motion 4x4. Okay. So we can analyze each and every point of, okay, so this was the example of super slow motion. Okay, so we can easily analyze, like if we have some real life event, and if we want to analyze it in super slow motion, and if you want to analyze it properly, then definitely this particular system will be the best one. Okay, so this is about the super slow motion video. Okay, super slow motion approach. Again, it is deep learning and AI based approach. Okay. So, so now we'll talk about the third feature of this particular architecture, which is called ray tracing. This ray tracing is a computationally intensive rendering technology that realistically simulates the lighting of the scene and its object. Okay, so this Turing GPU based ray tracing technology can render physically correct reflections, refractions, okay, shadows, and of course indirect light in the real time. Okay, so this is about the ray tracing part. Okay, so when we talk about this ray tracing, how exact, so we have some examples. So first of all, let us see how exactly this ray tracing works. Okay, so let us say this is a camera and this is an image. Okay, and this is the object. So once the camera will point, so this is all view rays. So these are called the view rays. Okay, and if you can see this view ray, so first a view ray will be targeting to the object itself, and then if there is a light source, okay, so this light, then this shadow will be from this particular side. Okay, and this is the scene object, and again there will be some shadow rays. Okay, so when this particular camera captures the image, okay, so it captures like this. So this is a 2D image. So in this 2D image, so here it will print a circle, okay, as it is displayed here, and then this is its shadow. Okay, when exactly this ray tracing will work. Okay, so this we have to see, like this is a viewing rays and this is all the shadow rays. Okay, so again, if you can see this example, like if we are using this RTX technique, so if we have taken a picture without RTX, okay, so this is the one of the example of a Battlefield V game. Okay, so this Battlefield V game. So when we are not using RTX, so the pictures looks like this. Okay, and when we are using this RTX, that is ray tracing on, so you can see the effect on this particular card. So you can easily identify that there are some shades of the fire on the cars. Okay, so such type of application which really demands a high graphics related part, so you can easily run into this particular system. Okay, similar example. So if you can see this similar example, this is a Tomb Raider game, the example of Tomb Raider game. So here, if you can see, this is this particular boy is holding a light. Okay, and so this is the case where we are not using RTX. This RTX is off, and when this RTX is on, that is ray tracing is on, so you can easily analyze the shades. This is the shadow of this particular girl as well as the shadow of this particular boy. Okay, so properly it is managed when we are using this RTX technique. So this is more realistic view. So we'll get more realistic view if we use such type of techniques. Okay. So now, so this is about this was the 4 point which specifically talk about the architecture. Okay. So now when we see the system configuration, so this is all software configuration. So here in this particular PC we have Ubuntu 18.04 LTS, 0.3 LTS, okay, operating system, and 11.2 CUDA drivers, and we also have a digits platform. So this digits platform is designed by NVIDIA. So if you can see here, so this is the NVIDIA digit platform. So NVIDIA digit platform, it is interactive deep learning GPU training system. So so they have developed a specific deep learning system, and we have to just give some images or our data, and already they have done the classification, segmentation, and other things are ready with them. So just you need to just provide this data, and automatically it will train the model based on your specification, and then after training you can easily test your data. Okay, so this is about NVIDIA digits. Okay, so so this particular digits are this tool is available with this particular system. Okay, and when we talk about libraries, so we have a CUDA Toolkit 11.2, and then these are the TensorRT libraries and other libraries for processing. Okay, and then compilers. So we have GCC compiler. Okay, and these are some frameworks which are already available with this system. So Torch, okay, Caffe, TensorFlow, Keras, MXNet, Tidal, etc. So these are all the system specification. Okay. So this is Param Shavak DL GPU software architecture block diagram. So as it is based on cross 86 architecture, as 8086 architecture, on the top of it we have high speed interconnect storage. Then on the top of it operating system and then device drivers. Okay, and then high performance libraries, the compilers, and then GPU computing platform. And on the top of it, we have this deep learning application framework and the libraries and deep learning training and development tools. Okay, so this is, and again, we required a GPU as vectors. Okay, so previously, when we talk about the old age computer, they are specifically used for they specifically use only CPUs, but nowadays the hybrid combination is used. So the work is equally divided, almost equally or more than the load is taken by the GPU and some part is taken by the CPU. Okay. So these are the parallel programming libraries available with this system. So here we have CUDA, OpenSCC, OpenMP, MPI, then OpenCL, Direct Compute, and OpenCVs. Okay, and these are the deep learning frameworks. Okay, available with this particular system. So here we have a TensorFlow, Google Machine Intelligence Platform, MXNet. Okay, and then Torch. So this by Facebook Deep Learning Framework, Cafe. Then so this Cafe, it is a deep learning framework from UC Berkeley, and then Keras. So most of you, those who are working with deep learning, so they will be using this Keras. So Python, Raptor, TensorFlow, okay, and then Python. So these are all the deep learning framework available with the system. Okay. And what we have decided that we will provide. Okay, so we'll provide when we are providing you the access. So here we will be providing the virtual environment. Okay, so you can set your own virtual environment if you are using Python. Okay, so you can set up your own virtual environment and you can submit your job. Okay, so there's no need to continuously sit in front of the PC. So you can just submit your job. Once your job is completed, you'll get the mail. Okay, that your job is completed, and then you can collect your results. Okay, so this is what we are thinking, that we'll be going with PBS. Okay, so this PBS is a scheduler. So this is the job scheduler which we'll be using. Okay, and so like this is the script which we have to write, and the email IDs and other thing, and then finally you can start execution. You can submit your job to this particular GPU. Okay, so this is about the theory part uh, of this particular PC. Now now I'll share my screen again. Okay, and let's log into to this Param Shavak, and we'll try to analyze one particular application, one deep learning application. Okay, using using digits. Okay, so I'll just stop my presentation, and again I'll log into. So just give me a minute. Okay, so now I'll be logging to. The screen is visible. Screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Okay, fine. So now let us see first the number of cores. Okay, so for this, let us write one command. So now here I have logged into the Param Shavak and the CPU. Okay, and if you can see here, so it has 40 CPUs and the complete information of this particular processor. Okay, and let's see about the NVIDIA card what we have. So this NVIDIA dash SMI. Okay, so this NVIDIA dash SMI. So if you can see here there are two GPU cards. Okay, so this Quadro P400. So it is a very small card, two GB card, and it is only for graphics purpose. And this is a GPU card. Okay, so this is the Quadro RTX 5000. Okay, so this part, and this we will use for deep learning purpose. Okay, so if you can see here, this is almost 16 GB. So this is 16 GB card, RTX 5000. It is 16 GB card. Okay. Okay, so now we will run one application. So as I said, this is a digit platform. So in digit platform, okay. So first we have to, as I said, is already there are some functionality already provided by NVIDIA. Okay, so this is again developed by NVIDIA only. So the first and important thing, we have to select this data sets. Okay, so let's create. So we'll go with classification. Okay, for classification problem. So let us see this classification problem, and this is the size. The size is 256 cross 256, and from here we have to take the this is the folder where we have kept the data. So slash home slash Shavak and animals. So here it has all the images of animals. Okay, and then we have to give some name. Okay, so let's give the name pu2, and the data set name is again pu2. Okay, and let us create it. Okay, so now it is creating this data set. So if you can see here, job status. Okay, and so now I'm connected through AnyDesk. Okay, so currently I'm connected through AnyDesk. So sometimes it gets disconnected. Okay, so again we need to log in. Okay, so let us see how much time it will connect. So now this data set is properly loaded. Okay, and now once this data set is ready, okay, so again we'll go, and now we have to select the model, which model we have to use. Okay, so again we'll go to the images and then this classification. Okay, and then from here we have to select the model. Okay, the first thing is we have to select this data set. So recently we have created this pu2 data set, and we can see this image size is 256 cross 256. These are all colored images, and these are other specification. Okay, and here we have to decide for training how many epochs we want. So this is the epoch time, and if we want the snapshot, so you can set the snapshot timing, the interval. Okay, and then once we are ready with this, okay, so once we are ready, okay, just give me a minute. Sometimes it may hang because I think the connection is lost, so it will again tell to log in. Okay, yeah. So again, I'm okay. So now here I have all these libraries. So I can use the Cafe, I can use Torch, I can use TensorFlow. Okay, all these libraries are available. Let's try this Cafe. Okay, so here if the intended size of the image is 256 cross 256. Okay, so we can use this particular model, AlexNet or Google LangNet. Okay, so here if we can see this image size is 256 cross 256. Okay, so let's select this particular model. Okay, and now on the down it will ask for which GPU you want to use. Okay, so it found two GPUs, as I said, like one is RTX 5000 and another one is P400. So let us select this particular GPU, and again it will say this group name. So we can go with the group name U3, and then this is U3 only, and let us create. Okay, So now this training of the model will start. Okay, so it will start the training. It will take some time.
Anyways, how many images we considering, sir, for taking this result? How many images we are considering for taking
We
the
have,
result?
I think it is nearly 451 images.
Okay. And all have size of 256 into 256,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes. It will take some time. Let us wait for 2 minutes. By the time we can check like at the time, yes. So here we can check like this GPU is 0% utilized, and if you can see this CPU, it is 99 point. It is almost 100% utilized. Okay. So and this is the processor num. This is the process which is running on this GPU. Okay. So continuously right now it is using on the CPU. So once this data is offloaded from CPU to GPU, okay, so we'll see the fast result. Okay. Still it is running. So still you can see like CPU is almost 100% utilized and GPU still not started yet. And we can also see the performance here. Okay, so it's still the data is not offloaded here. Okay. So now this training is started. So you can see this training is started. Okay, and this see you can see this GPU utilization. So now GPU is started utilizing. Okay, so like 6%, and its temperature you can see. Okay, so this is almost 50% utilized, and if you can see here in the GPU part, okay, so you can see the load. Okay, so now almost some load is transferred, and so this is the GPU. This is now current in utilization. So 29% GPU is utilized. Okay, and still the process is executing. Okay, and yeah, so now this training is done. Okay, so you can see some statistics is coming. So these are some statistics for analysis. Okay, we can analyze it later. Okay, so this is the model, and now some statistics. There are some statistics. And now this model is completely trained. Now with this image, with this model, let us select one image and let's see how it is. Uh, so let's take the image of any polar bear. Okay, so let's take we have these many images like cheetah, lion, polar bear, and tiger. Okay, let's take the image of polar bear. Okay, so this is the image of polar bear. Okay, and then we'll use it, and then let us see. Okay, so now we'll apply the classification. Let's see how exactly this image is classified by this particular uh, training set. Okay. I mean, it will take some time. By the time. So by the time it is working on it. Okay, so I have already classified one. I think this is there on. So this was the image I previously classified. Okay, so if you can see the result. Okay, so this result is like 93%. It This particular image matches with like the characteristics of a polar bear. Okay, 2.2 it find out it's look like a lion. Okay, 2.4% it is somewhat matches with cheetah, and 1.72% it is matching with tiger as well. Okay, so now let us see. Still it is processing. Okay, so these are still just processing. Let us wait for some time and then we'll conclude the session. So by the time it is processing, can we have any question? Sir?
Yes, sir. We received questions from the viewers, and can we start with the question?
By the time it is processing, you can take some questions.
Okay. So the first question is there any application where we can apply RTX for analysis and simulation?
Yeah, definitely there are applications like if you can take the example of sun rays. If they are coming into the atmosphere, so generally they are this rays will be splitted. So if you want to analyze such type of scenario, so definitely we can apply this RTX part.
Okay. So second question is, what will be your suggestion for a fresher who want to explore high performance computing and AI ML field?
Okay, so if anyone want to learn about HPC, the first and important thing is to understand the architecture of the system. If we know the architecture, then definitely you know like what type of libraries you need to apply. Okay, so the first and important thing, you should know the architecture, which architecture you're using, whether it is Volt architecture, whether it is Turing architecture, or whether it is Ampere architecture. So the architecture understanding is really important, because when we talk about like this Turing architecture, it do not have a double, or we can say that it cannot support the double part. Okay, so it works fine with a single precision, but when we talk about the double precision, it will not give you the proper result. So now see, we got this result now. So after classification, so this particular image, so it is again 86%. It is matching with this polar bear, and 5.41% it is again with the lion, and then 5.2% somewhere features looks like a cheetah, and then 2.92% it looks like a tiger. Okay, so this is how we can use this particular system. So again, it is first we did the training, and then after this training, completed the training of almost 450 images, and out of this 450 images, we got this result. So still, I can say it's all good results. So 86% accuracy is really good accuracy. So I think that's it from my side. Any other question we have?
Yes, sir. One more question from so many viewers. And that question is how anyone can access the supercomputer. That means if they want to access, what they have to do.
Okay, so for that, we'll be working with the policies specifically in Parul University. We'll be coming with the policy of usage of supercomputer. Okay, and again it is with the advice from CR4D. Okay, we'll take the advice from CR4D and we'll design the policies, and in upcoming days we'll circulate these policies, and we'll provide the proper login credentials to the users.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Amit Barve, for introducing Param Shawak supercomputer and sharing your knowledge on high performance computing. Your talk will encourage our students, our scholars and faculties to start their research in machine learning, deep learning and high performance computing. Thank you so much, sir. So I just want to conclude this particular session with a pessimist complaint about the width. Optimist tries to change it, and the leader adjusts the cell. The cell for this particular adjusted by our Honorable President Dr. Devanshu J. Patel, sir, who is not only a great motivation to all of us, but a visionary and the person who gave us belief to bring together. We will ever remain grateful to you, sir. I would like to thank Dr. Nirottam Sahu, sir, Dr. Payal Pandit, madam, and the team of Gujko SAIL team for giving us the grant of Param Shawak supercomputer to Parul University. And I would like to thank Honorable Provost, sir, Dr. M.N. Patel, sir, our Research Director, Dr. Geetika Madan Patel, ma'am, Dean, Dr. Unnati Joshi, ma'am, for their continuous and unconditional support. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.